33. How do you solve a proportion? How do you solve a proportion? Cross multiply. So you take the 3 times the 15, what do you get?
45.
Big Y times 25, what do you get?
25.
Then what do I do? By?
25.
And what do you get when you divide 45 by 25? Does it come out even?
No.
So what do you need to do?
Put it in a fraction.
It is a fraction. We have to reduce it. Divide both the top and the bottom, find a common factor. Both of them are divisible by 5. Comes 9 over 5. That's simplified. Okay, number 34. Cross multiply again. When you're multiplying a t plus 4 by a 4, you need to make sure that you use parentheses. 1 times 1 minus 2. When you multiply by 1, nothing happens. I don't need to write the times 1. So t minus 2 equals, and what does that become, Brady?
4t plus 16.
Very good. 4t plus 16. Okay. Now, I need to get all the constants on the letters on the left, numbers on the right. I'm going to subtract 4t from both sides. T minus 4t, what does that become? Negative 3t. Then add 2 to both sides. Canceled there, that cancels. Negative 3t is equal to what?
18.
And then divide both sides by negative 3. T becomes
6.
solve t is negative 6.
Negative 6.
Okay, so our new is 75. Our old was 60. Over 60. That becomes a 15 over 60.
What is that equal to?
Which is what? Okay, so that's an increase of what percent?
25.
New minus old. 44 minus 55 over
44. 55.
44 minus 55 is what?
11.
Negative 11 over 55, which reduces to what? Negative 1/5, which is a what percent? 20% decrease. Don't know how to find the percent, divide. 1 divided by 5 moves the decimal. All right, we're going to solve for A. In this equation, we need to solve for A. There's A. We need to get everything else to the left. So the first thing I need to do is take this whole term and take it over to the left. So I'm going to add 1/4 v t squared to the other side. H plus 1/4 v t squared. Okay, it's gone from the right side, and that's equal to A times t.
Whoa.
Then everything gets divided by,
1/4.
the thing I need to get rid of is the t. The t's canceled out. That's equal to A. So A is equal to, I can rewrite the whole, just switch everything. H plus 1/4 v t squared all over t. Subtract ax from both sides. And I'm left with b times y equals c minus a x. Then what do? by B. So y would be equal to C over B minus A over B times X. So that would work also. Divide the whole thing, make it one fraction. That'd be fine. Solve for H. B equals pi r squared H. So everything is multiplication here. So if I need to get rid of the pi and r squared so that I can leave H by itself, all I can do is use division to make that happen. The r squareds will cancel and the pi's will cancel. So I'm left with H just equal to, rewrite it, B over pi r squared. We can plug in numbers for volume. What is the volume?
188.
Okay, divide by pi, which is a number in itself, and the radius is what? 6 squared. So this, type this in your calculator. 1,188 divided by pi, or 3.14 if you have a pi button. And then also divided by 36. Came out to 10.5, is that right? Even rounded, that's correct. What's our height? So this is in inches. When we're doing the domain, we're looking at the set of all x values. We have a scatter plot, so our x values are going to be these numbers under or above the points we have. So we have a -7, we have a -2, we have a +2, and we have a 6. The range is going to be the set of y values that we use. So be the numbers to the left and right of the dots of the points. Okay, so we've got the lowest one is -3, and we have a -2, a +1, and a 6. Now, is this going to be a function? Because I have repetition right here with these 2 points, I have 2, 7, and 2, -3. That's going to cause it to not be a function. Okay? The inverse, when you're doing the inverse, you have to write the coordinates of the points in backwards order. So the coordinate of this point was -7, -2. So the inverse of that is -2, -7. This point is -2, 1. Inverse of that, 1, -2. Here we have 2, -3. The inverse of that is -3, +2. This point is 2, 6. Inverse of that is 6, 2. And we have 6, 1. It's going to be 1, 6. Okay, the domain for this problem is going to be the set of all x values. This time it's a continuous function that goes from -8 to +9. Okay, so the x values are between -8 and +9 inclusive, because these are both filled in. The y values are going to go from -5 up to a +3. So -5 are your y's up to a +3, and again, still inclusive. Is this a function?
Well, no.
Yes,
Yes.
because it passes the vertical line test. There's no place where if I have a vertical line, it's actually slightly curved. Okay. All right, we'll say it could be, maybe, depending on what happens right there, if that's vertical or not. All right, is this one a function? Is 42 a function? How can you tell? Sure. 0 has two outputs. We have the same input. We have an x value that has two outputs. If you have two arrows pointing away from a certain output or for a certain x value, then that means it's got like two repetition in the x column. So no, it's not a function. What is the range when the domain is 0? That's where you have your two x values, -1 and 3. What's the domain when the range is 2? What numbers pair with 2? Where you have -3 and 6. The inverse, take everything and write it backwards. So we had -3, 2. Maybe 2, -3. That's 0, -1. Write that backwards. We have 0, 3. We have 2, 0. So we'll write it 0, 2. We got 4, -5. So we need -5, 4. And 6, 2. So we'll write it as 2, 6. 43. All right, 43, if we're looking for a discrete function, we're looking at something kind of like number 40. This is a discrete function. This is also not a function because of the 2 points at x equals 2. So if we want to draw a discrete function that's not a function, we could just refer back to number 40, but it just wants a scatter plot. But somewhere along the line on the scatter plot, we need to have 2 points that are on the same vertical. So like that. A continuous graph that is a function will again be a little like number 41. Well, 41 was a little debatable there at the middle, but so we'll make one that's a little bit more obvious. So that right there would be a continuous function, continuous graph that is a function. All right, f of -1 means we're going to put -1 in the place of x in the f function. So that becomes +2 minus 3, which is -1. So f of -1 is -1. F of a half, -2, put a half in for x, minus 3, would be -1 minus 3 would be -4. G of -3 means we're going to use the g function. We're going to put -3 in for x. And we get +9 plus 6 plus 1. So we get 16. Number 48, if x -8 is the solution to the equation -x equals 4y minus 7. What this means is we need to find the value of x. We know the value of y is -8. So that's what we're going to plug in. We're going to substitute for y in the equation and hopefully solve for x. So 4 times -8 minus 7. And let's simplify the right side. -x is equal to -32 minus 7. Which would be -x is equal to -39. So that means positive x is a positive 39. So the same thing with 49. If 14y is a solution, well, that means now that we know the value of x is 14, and the y value is what we don't know. So we're going to plug the x value in and solve for y. So 5 times 14 minus 7y equals 28. So that's 32, 70, minus 7y equals 28. So let's subtract 70 from both sides. And I get, so I move it over, negative 7y is equal to negative 42. So we divide by negative 7, and y would be a positive 6. Number 50, we're trying to find the next three terms in each arithmetic sequence. So the pattern is, here we had to subtract 4, and then from here to here, 11 to 7 is another decrease of 4. 7 to 3 is a decrease of 4. So the next three terms would be 3 minus 4 would be negative 1, minus 4 would be negative 5, minus 4 again would be negative 9. Number 51, our numbers are increasing. This increases by 3, and it increases by 3 again, it increases by 3 again. So on the next term, I would add 3 to negative 16, I get a negative 13. Add 3 again, I get a negative 10. Add 3 again, I get a negative 7. The number of students in each row in an auditorium form an arithmetic sequence as shown in the table above. Use the formula A of n is equal to A of 1 plus d times n minus 1 to write an equation for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence. Okay, so A of n would be equal to A of 1. Okay, so it would be the number in the first row, which would be 4, plus d. D, which is going to be the jump. So since it's increasing 3, increasing 3, increasing 3 each time, it's going to be plus 3 times n minus 1. Okay, so if we want something to figure out what's in the 15th row, then A of 15 is going to be 4 plus 3 times 15 minus 1, which would be 4 plus 3 times 14, which is 4 plus 42, which is 46.